Are you serious? Are you serious? Everybody calm down. But the question is the blood moon coming July 27th, 2018, is this a sign of the end of the world? It is a sign of the end times. We are in the era of the apocalypse. And this blood moon, which will be the longest blood moon of this century, is happening in the 70th year of Israel being a nation. It's happening the same year also that Jerusalem has been declared the eternal city of God. And it's happening with the volcanoes already erupting in Hawaii, and the smoke is erupting, the smoke, the ash, all of the plumes, all of the volcanic rivers flowing. It's incredible how the Bible refers to these events taking place in the last days. Matter of fact, Jesus said this. In Luke 21:25, he said, "There shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and distress of nations with perplexity, the sea, the waves roaring. Men's hearts will fail them for fear, for looking after those things coming upon the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Then shall we see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. When these things begin to come to pass," he said, "look up, lift up your head, your redemption draweth nigh." There's a scripture in the Bible. It says this in Joel 2, verse 30. "And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord has said, and in the remnant whom the Lord hath called." Notice here what it says in the scriptures. There will be these signs in the heavens, and there will be and on the earth. And then it talks about a volcanic eruption, blood, fire, and pillars of smoke. Then the sun is darkened, and it is being darkened by the dark clouds from the eruptions, and then the moon will turn to blood. We have a full blood moon, the longest blood moon, 103 minutes. This moon will turn blood red. It's the longest blood moon of the century. Remember the blood moons of 2014 and 2015, how they landed on Jewish feast days, that during Passover, during the Feast of Passover, and during the Feast of Tabernacles. Feast of Passover, Feast of Tabernacles. And in between, of course, there were solar eclipses. Well, this is different. This blood moon, the longest blood moon of the century, happens in between two partial solar eclipses. Matter of fact, there will be a solar eclipse. It's a partial one. It will happen on July 13th. And then right in the middle, July 27th, will be the total blood moon, the longest of the century. Then 2 weeks later, there will be another partial solar eclipse on August the 11th. So there is apocalyptic signs in the heavens. Matter of fact, there's an article that's out actually by the Express. They asked the question. They said, blood moons 2018. Is July's blood moon a sign of the end of the world? Well, yes, it is. It's a sign of the end times. It's a sign that this is the apocalyptic era. And in the article, they asked some questions, and you can read it. I'll put the link below. But they did mention the fact that I was already on this, and they said popular Christian conspiracy pastor. I don't know if that's exactly who I am, but Paul Begley jumped on the bandwagon and claimed about the blue blood moon, which I did back in January. And it was a very prophetic moon, because what happened? The embassy did move to Jerusalem. Jerusalem did celebrate its 70th year. Israel, and so, yes, the blue blood moon was prophetically bringing about the events of the end times. Also, we know what's been happening in North Korea. See, the Bible does talk about the nations being in perplexity, okay? But also, remember, Mark Biltz, and I had him on my show, talked about that blue blood moon as well. And he and Pastor John Hagee, both of them were very instrumental in bringing out the 4 blood moon tetrad of 2014, 2015. There's no question that you know for sure that the longest blood moon of the century would happen during the 70th year of Israel being a nation. And especially with Israel being surrounded by many nations, just like it says in Ezekiel 38 and 39. And just like it says it will happen in the book of Zechariah, chapter 12, in the cup of trembling, the burdensome stone. So there's no question about it, folks. Keep an eye on what's going on in the world events. Really keep a close eye. The volcano in Hawaii has already been erupting. Just like the scripture says, it's happening before the blood moon. The smoke, the fire, the blood. We had one man. It's unbelievable that this one guy sitting on the 3rd balcony, the 3rd layer, would get hit with flying lava and would break in his leg and burst into blood. It's just unbelievable that the prophecies of the Bible are coming to pass in these last days. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're living in the end times. Are you saved?